반갑습니다, 여러분. 오늘 오랜만에 맷 크로스 형님의 영상을 가지고 왔어요. 그래서 여러분들 영상을 보시면 그 자막바가 좀 바뀐 게 보일 텐데 이게 가장 최근에 편집한 영상이거든요. 제가 일부러 그 업로드 순서를 좀 바꿨어요. 왜 그랬냐면 좀 여러분들에게 좀 골고루 좀 보여드리고 싶어가지고 앞으로 당긴 거예요. 그냥 그렇게 알고 계시면 되고요. 이제 영상 내용에 대해서 조금 얘기를 해볼 텐데요. 오늘 핵심 단어는 walkaway라는 단어입니다. 이 walkaway는요, 레드필 쪽에서 많이 쓰는 단어고요. 어떤 행동이에요. 네, 행동이고 이거에 대한 설명은 맷 형님이 아주 잘 해주실 거예요. 그래서 여러분들이 맷 형님의 말을 잘 들어주세요. 알겠죠? 네, 얘기는 딱히 안 할게요. 자, 그래서 오늘 이제 이렇게 영상에 대해서 좀 설명하고 이제 여러분들이 맷 형님을 이제 만나보러 가시면 됩니다. 아시겠죠? 자, 이제 영상을 보도록 하시죠.
If you're in a situation right now where your girlfriend is about to dump you, this is what I want you to do. Dump her first. If you are at a point in your relationship where you're feeling like you're about to lose your girl and she's about to walk out on you, you walk out on her first. You don't try to sit there and save your relationship. You do not try to sit there and beg her to come back with you. You do not try to sit there and negotiate sex with her or negotiate desire, right? As Rollo Tomasi talks about. Instead, what you do is you pack up your shit and you leave her before she has a chance to leave you. Because one thing you have to understand is dumping a woman is hands down the highest demonstration of value that you can possibly ever execute as a man, especially if the girl's good looking. 99.9% of guys out there will never have the balls to walk away from a hot girl, especially if he's finally gotten her locked down into a long-term relationship with him. None of these guys have the balls to walk away from that girl, which is inadvertently why 99.9% of these guys end up losing these girls, right? They end up losing these girls anyway because of their inability to walk away from her. If you're in a situation where your girlfriend is starting to wander off on you, she's starting to disappear, she's starting to hide her cell phone, she's starting to reconnect with all of those old friends that she has not seen in years, you know, before you were even a couple. If she is changing the passwords all of a sudden to her Facebook and she's blocked you on social media, or she's making all of her accounts private all of a sudden, the reason why she's doing that is because she's getting ready to leave you. Okay, she is moving on without you. And the thing you have to understand about women dumping you in the first place is women don't just dump you to be alone. Okay, even though she might tell you that. She might tell you, I just need some time alone. I will tell you, if I could get a nickel for every girl who said they just need time for themselves when there was actually a guy waiting in the wings, I would have a shitload of nickels. If your girl is about to dump you, there is nothing you can do about it. You cannot stop her. You cannot change her mind. There is no amount of begging, pleading, or crying that will get her to stay. Even if she stays with you temporarily in the short term, say she feels so guilty she can't help but stay with you. And you know, some of these girls will. Some of these girls will just be like, I just feel too guilty about leaving him, so I'm just gonna stick around and see what happens. The girl will always eventually end up leaving, and it's generally within that week that you convinced her to stay. So even if you convinced her to stay by crying or groveling or threatening to kill yourself or some shit like that, she will generally stay out of pity. Okay, she'll stay out of pity for a few days before she finally just gets up and leaves you anyway. And by the way, you'd never want a girl staying with you out of pity. We just talked about the highest demonstration of value. Well, a girl feeling pity for you and you begging is absolutely the lowest demonstration of value that you could possibly do as a man. So never do these things. And I know you're heartbroken. Some of you guys in these situations, I've been there. We've all been there. It's very heartbreaking. It's very gut-wrenching. It doesn't feel good. And it really takes a man with a strong set of balls to walk away from that chick. I have not had this happen to me in over a decade now. Last time this happened to me where a chick kicked me in the balls like that was 2006. Has not happened since. And even that chick came back around. And you know what I told her when she tried to come back around and be like, I'm yours. You know what I said? Fuck you! No. And the only reason why she came back around is because I started dating somebody else, somebody hotter. That's why she came back around. But I was already over it by then. And one of my biggest regrets with not only that relationship but with others that were similar to it before I really established, like relationship game, is not walking away first. Even when I knew the girl was going to leave, I mean, a lot of times too, when you're young, you're naive and you think that you could kind of grovel and plead and beg her to stay and it'll work, and it never does. She just loses more respect for you. It doesn't work. The only thing that works is you walking away from her, you dumping her before she dumps you, because she's going to dump you. Your only saving grace at this point is to throw the Hail Mary. Okay, throw the Hail Mary, but you know what? Unlike most Hail Marys that, where it's like 50% of the time the receiver will catch it in the end zone, the other 50% of the time they won't, you have a lot better odds when you dump a girl than a typical Hail Mary. The odds are a lot more in your favor that that girl will eventually end up coming back to you. And by the time she comes back to you, you won't even want her anymore. You won't even want her. You'll be like, why was I so nuts over this bitch? What was I thinking? Right? You'll really want to kick yourself later. I get so many guys that, are in relationships and they're on the verge of getting dumped, and they're like, how do I save this? What do I do to save it? Should I buy her, flowers? Should I take her to that fancy restaurant she's always been wanting to go to? Should I buy her a gift? What should I do? Should I get her a card? Should I write her a letter? Should I write her a song? Should I write a poem for her? I'm like, if you do any of those things, only do them if you really want to get rid of her for good and you want her to lose complete respect for you. Go ahead and write her a poem or write her a song, or go buy her, the gift that she wanted, or go take her to that fancy restaurant. If you really want to get rid of her, go do those things. Even if you don't want to get her to come back and you want to leave with a little bit of self-respect, and you want her kicking herself 2-3 months from now for letting go of you, if you want her to kick herself, the best thing you could do is to dump her before she dumps you. Walk away from her before she has the chance to walk away from you and kick you in the nuts. Don't let her kick you in the nuts. Get your shit, leave. Take off, leave that relationship. That is the most high value act that a man can possibly ever do, especially in that situation, especially when she's lost all faith in you. She's pulled all bets on you. Okay, she has no faith in you whatsoever. That is the time that you can shock the shit out of her by telling her, you know what? I don't like the way you're treating me. I'm done with this relationship. Screw you. I'm done, bitch. I'm out. Walk out. It's the most highest demonstration of value that you could ever possibly do as a man. Even if you're not in a relationship right now and you're just kind of casually dating a girl who's a little too flaky, right? Sometimes she goes out with you. Other times she flakes. She's just not taking you serious. She's not valuing your time. Those girls, walk away from them. Send them a text. Be like, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. Goodbye. A couple of weeks later, that girl will text you. And really, walking away is really the only true power that you have as a man in any type of relationship with a woman. And it's a very powerful weapon that so few guys use out there. So few guys use, because in order to use this weapon, you need to have guts. You need to have balls. You need to have internal strength and courage and belief in yourself, because when you're in a relationship with your woman and you love her that much, you're just going to constantly be coming up with reasons to convince yourself that you could convince her to stay with you. You're just going to rationalize away all of her bad behaviors, all of the crazy shit she's pulling on you. You're just going to rationalize all that away, and you're going to put a halo effect over her head because you're being dumped and you don't want to lose her. And you're feeling that loss even before she's actually dumped you. It takes a lot of balls to walk away because you think that you could still win. But I'm telling you, as somebody who's coached thousands upon thousands of guys around the world and has been doing this my entire adult life and has been teaching guys my entire adult life and has experienced hundreds of relationships myself, I will tell you there is not one case where a guy was able to beg his woman back and she stayed with him and they lived happily ever after. Never happens. Like I said, in the rare cases, some of these guys, they were able to get the girl to come back temporarily. And when I say temporary, I mean temporary, less than a week. I'm talking a few days. The girl stuck around for a few more days and then she couldn't take it anymore. She finally got up and left. Got dumped anyway. So I am telling you, as a pickup artist, as a dating coach, the highest value move that you can make, the most effective move you can make, that will give you the highest chance of her coming back. Again, I don't know why you would want that, but would give you the highest chance of her coming back, the highest chance of her kicking herself a few months later down the line for letting you go, the highest chance for her never being able to forget about you, feeling like you were the one who got away. The way to make that happen is by dumping her before she dumps you, by walking away from her first before she walks away from you. Okay, and this not only works for long-term relationships, but it also works for girls you're just casually dating. There was a girl that I was dating casually that I really liked. She was cute and everything like that, but she started to take me for granted. She flaked on like 2 dates in a row. Not even kidding, flaked on 2 dates in a row. Then the third date came and she was like, oh, I'm totally ready. And I made sure I clear my schedule, so I'm gonna be there for this date. Did I take a chance on her showing up for that third date? No, I didn't take that chance. I texted her and I said, you know what? I've changed my mind. I basically told her I met somebody else, which was true. And I just said, I'm going to shift my focus elsewhere because I don't have time for the flakes. I let her know I don't put up with that, right? 2 in a row? No, I don't put up with that. 1, understandable. 2 in a row, back to back, done. You're done. And now she's like hitting me up. She's texting. She's like, I'm so sorry. I really want to see you still. I didn't know that it was going to be that big of a deal. And she's like, I told you that this happened, that happened. And I just said, just come clean. Don't give me excuses. Just come clean. So I'm kind of making her go through the ringer right now. You know, if I give her a second chance in the future, I don't know if I feel like it, but right now, you know, it's not a priority to me like she was. I really like this girl. I thought she was cute, but she pissed me off. You know, she pissed me off. So I walked away and look what happened. Now she's like thinking about me constantly. That is the power of walking away, fellas. That is the power of showing these chicks you have the balls to leave at any time. Okay, and I will tell you point blank, that is your most powerful weapon that you have as a man in any of these dating relationships with these women, casual relationships with them, even work relationships. Just showing you're not willing to put up with their shit. Hold them accountable for their actions and walk away. So if you're in that situation where your woman's about to dump you, man, believe me, you're not going to be able to save it by groveling, by writing her letters, by trying to talk to her family or friends and convince her otherwise, because as far as she's concerned, she's already gone. She might be with you physically still, like she might even sit there still have sex with you, but mentally she's gone. Okay, physically she's there with you, mentally she's gone, she's elsewhere. And chances are there's already another guy lined up. Okay, there always is, fellas. There's always another guy lined up. As much as she tells you, I just want to be alone, I just need some alone time. No, there's already a dude lined up. He's already in her life. The damage has already been done. Walk away from that bitch. Do yourself a favor, leave with some self-respect so you're not kicking yourself 3 months later when you're finally over her and you're like, oh, what was I thinking? Oh my gosh, she must think I'm such a pussy now. You could prevent that by walking away from her. I mean, if your girl is already disappearing, she's like going to the gym a lot more than she normally does. She's growing her hair out again. She's losing weight. She's watching what she eats. She's hanging out with all those old girlfriends that magically disappeared when you first started dating her. If she's doing all these things, these are signs that she is about to leave you. These are signs that she is going to be dumping you. These are signs that she is going to be moving on from your relationship. So before she does that and before she pulls the trigger on you, pull the carpet out from underneath her and dump her first. Okay, because when you dump her first and you just pack up and be like, you know what? I don't really like how you're treating me. I don't really appreciate the way you're talking to me anymore. And I don't like the energy I'm getting from this relationship. I want it to end. I'm done. And you walk out. Okay, you walk out. And you show that girl that you have not forgotten who you are. That you're still that same badass son of a bitch that she met that very first night. Okay, that she forgot. Because a lot of these girls, they forget who you were. They forget who you were when you first met. Okay, and you know what? It's your fault for letting her forget that. You turned into a wuss, right? You turned into a big romantic, a big softie, big cookie. And you can't. You always have to be on your toes with these girls. But the way you could get all that back in a flash is by dumping her first and walking away from her. Okay, if you feel like you're about to get dumped, do it first. Dump her first. This is the best advice you'll get all year.